What do you make of the measures announced today?
Actually, we are witnessing a real U-turn made by the French government in comparison with what was made before, because the Prime Minister chose his words, because he ended his speech talking about understanding the causes of radicalization, which is totally in contradiction with what was said before, because the former Prime Minister said that understanding is justifying. So it's a real U-turn, and there's a real emphasis today on prevention, on taking things, thinking about solutions before the radicalization of a person. And this is why we are seeing that the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Sports are being involved today among other ministries. And he said something really important also about the internet. For the first time, the French government is saying that internet isn't the source of radicalization, but it's a mean, as if books were the mean to vehiculate, for example, extreme right ideas at the beginning of the last century. And this is new. It was also said by a German minister in the Munich Security Summit a few weeks ago. So we are seeing a real U-turn, a change in the way that they are understanding radicalization here in Europe, and we are seeing also the will to give to the civil society the means to create its own counter speech. So it's not a thing that should be done by government. And this is what he said. And I think that this is the most important part of his speech, is saying that all what was done in France since 2014 was a failure, and today it's a real U-turn, and it's a real new engagement, and not only a security engagement, but also an engagement on the level of education and of prevention, which is very new.
And now we heard a clip of Edouard Philippe just a second ago telling France about this idea of isolating radicalised elements in French prisons. Is that really something new?
It's not really new. They are already isolated, but isolated in a chaotic way. Because today, for example, people are being sentenced, for example, for 2 years in jail just for sympathizing or being active on the internet, for example, and they are being mixed with real jihadis coming back from Syria and Iraq. So today, what they want to do is they want to create new categories and create new facilities where persons will going to be evaluated, and then they will go into a very hard imprisonment facility or not. So this is also new, and we can't know yet what's going to be the outcome, because many other countries tried and everybody failed on this level, on the level of how to imprison those people. Because when you put them together, they will get harder and harder, and for some, if you put them with other convicts, they have a risk of radicalizing other convicts. So there's no magic formula, knowing that radicalization is a personal path, and going back from this path is also personal. We have examples here in France and in other countries. And one last thing, we saw that the Prime Minister said that de-radicalization shouldn't be used anymore. And how many times we said here in France 24 that this is it cannot be real, thinking that one person will change like this, giving him a red pill, he'd get de-radicalized. And he talked about disengagement. So disengagement from violent action, which is something that can be done, and it is done in other countries. He gave the example of Denmark, for example, where it's the it's the experience that it's working on the European level today.
Thank you very much for that, Wassim Nasr.
Thank you.